encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is the shifting dynamics of social relationships after cancer. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive at 5 with Roman. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I spoke with Doc Michelle and we discussed understanding thyroid functions. Go over to YouTube, type in Intellectual Radio, stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's by Maya Angelou. Here are your trending topics for today. Morgan Stanley CEO James Moran said just as employees' salaries promotions wasn't a choice, working remotely for a week wasn't either. The pandemic has completely transformed people's working lives. Employees across the industry have gotten used to working remote and they want to hold on to it, fighting back against efforts to bring them back into the office, with experts warning that if companies do not welcome remote work, they are risking losing talent. Some companies have fully embraced working remote, going so far as to letting go of their office space. But many others, such as Disney, News Corp, and Starbucks, have recently put their foot down and demanded that the workers come back in the office. Now, the CEO of Morgan Stanley is sharing his own thoughts as well, making it clear that working remotely is not an employee's choice. Those are your trending topics for today. I am so grateful for my sponsor, Emanuel Church of God in Christ, with Pastor Michael Richardson, who has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And we're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emanuel C.O.G.I.C-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson, and we are from the Emanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
And here is my co-host for today. You guys, you already know who he is. He is the cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, Rizal Gilmore, aka The Biz. Hey, Rizal.
Hey, Lady ReShell.
What's up?
You know, as many years we've been doing this show, I still get the excitement like it's the very first one.
I know.
Over and over again. But It's been like just so fun. And the time that's elapsed, it doesn't seem like it's been that long.
I know.
I love it.
It's been a while. People don't understand how long we've been doing this, but it's been a while.
Right. It has been a while.
Hey, Lisa, thank you for joining us. I'm excited about the topic, Rizal. This is actually one of the topics that Rizal wanted to talk about. I feel like it was really near and dear to his heart. And I know that he's not the only one who may have gone through something like this. And other people need to know when it comes to cancer, the different facets of cancer, not just the diagnosis, and the person that's diagnosed is not the only one who goes through the trauma when it comes to cancer. So our topic again for today is the shifting dynamics of social relationships after cancer. In other words, in Rizal words, the relationship after the relationship.
Right. The relationship after the relationship. What do I mean by that? So, for example, I was dating this young lady and we didn't work out like some relationships do. It's all good. We're still remaining friends. We still keep in contact. But because She had 3 kids. So once the relationship ended with me and her, the relationship actually didn't end with me and the kids. So some people feel as though that once that relationship is over, like there should be no contact. But their father was in jail. There was no contact from him. And I was like the next father figure. And still to this day, we keep in, a good contact, me and the kids. I don't talk as much to the young lady other than, hi, bye, holidays, happy Thanksgiving, so forth and so forth. But, there's a relationship that I have built with them that's still continuing. So that's what I mean by the relationship after the relationship.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that one.
I know you'll need counseling.
You'd be like, look, mm-mm, I'm going and my kids go too. That's got to be hard, especially when the kids are involved and you want the kids to have something that's stable, somebody that's constant in their life. And if the dad is not present and you have somebody there that's, not abusing them and that's really setting a good example for them, then, I would say don't get in the way of it. Sometimes we can get in our feelings, because we're not with that person. We can have, be bitter about it and be like, you gonna punish, you call yourself punishing him, but you punishing the kids as well. So that would be something, Rizal, I would really have to think about, really. I think it depends on too how that relationship ended too. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, and you took a deep breath on that one.
Yeah, I would really, hey, Red. I would really have to think about it. Like, I think it really depends on how we broke up. Like, if it was really, really bitter, then I would think that maybe he had an ulterior motive wanting to stay connected with the kids. If it wasn't a bitter situation and I know him to be a genuine person, then I'd be like, I still would be kind of iffy.
Well, why do you think it would be bitter? Because it didn't work out with us. You don't think that would work out? It would work out with them, the kids?
No, I mean if it ended bitter, like if it was a toxic relationship and we had to end it because it was just toxic. So sometimes you walk away bitter.
So do you feel as though that your enemies are your kids' enemies?
Sometimes if my kids are loyal to me. My kids are team Lady ReShell, so
The ReShellettes.
yes. You've seen them, so you've been around them, so
Mhm.
I mean, but if I will say this, kids, they can pretty much pick up on people. They really can. So if they pick up that, he's a good guy and mama I'm just tripping, then that's a different story. But for me, I have girls. So, my son is older. He's 29. So my girls are, I have to be really careful with my girls when a guy say he wants to stay around them. And, my first instinct is to protect them.
I mean, that's every woman's instinct. But again, if the father isn't present and he wasn't doing his, he wasn't stepping up, doing what he's supposed to do, why should I step down? If they have that relationship with me, if they want to stay in, obviously there's a trust with me that they, desire in me to say, hey, I like this guy. I want to, have him continue doing what he's doing for me because, it just feels good. It feels right. Regardless, I know mommy's not with him no more, but, it kind of leaves the kid in the middle.
It does. And that would be a hard one for me. It really would. It really would. I think me and the guy would probably have to sit down and have a conversation, before that relationship with the kids continue to put some type of ground rules in place. Like I said,
all depending.
Mm-hmm.
All dependent because, like you said, your girls are older. So they're teens, so I'm sure they have their cell phones. So they may text him or call him and you may not even know. Or they might have continued the relationship of texting and call him and you never knew after the breakup. Would you get upset over that?
I have passwords to all of their phones, so I could go in at any time. I'm in their phones. So that I wouldn't want that because I would think I wouldn't, no, don't keep something like that from me. I wouldn't want them to be doing it behind my back. I would want to know because sometimes sick people groom children. They groom them so that when it's time for them to strike, that person is already used to them. They're not afraid, oh, this person's not going to hurt me because this person loves me. This person has been good to me. But then sometimes people groom, men and women groom kids, for their purposes. So,
Oh, I know totally. I'm about to tell my story in a minute on why and how, most of this came up, because that me and my wife were married for 11 years. We have two beautiful daughters together. Um, Denisha is 27 and Madison is 17
is she
right
27?
now.
Oh,
The
wow.
oldest is 20, yeah, the oldest is 27 and the youngest is 17.
17.
And at the time, once my wife passed back in 2013, Madison was only 8. Now, me and my wife's mother, which was my mother-in-law, we didn't get along. My wife didn't like her sister, which is the aunt. I, you know, I was cordial with her, because I'm going to stand by my wife's side. If you don't like her, well, then, hey, I can see your reasoning why, because she was very malicious in a lot of different things that she did. And she lived a different lifestyle, nothing to do with what we got. But, that's my family. That's my girls is my immediate family. So as time went on, Madison is now getting older and it's just me and her. And you can, if you're a Facebook friend of mine, you see that, Madison, me and her was thick as thieves, back and forth through everything. And at a certain point, I would let Madison go visit, that house where my oldest daughter and the aunt and, all of them live. Now, keep in mind, I had to live with 5 women. Me and my wife, we never got a chance to get our own. I had to live with 5 women. So I didn't want Madison to be excluded from anything that they was doing. So I would let her go over there, on the weekends. So time came where, it was time to have a change, which was me moving to where I'm at now. And, Madison, I waited purposely till she graduated 8th grade because she can now start 9th grade fresh with a whole new, clique of friends and all of that, because there was going to be new people. And lo and behold, graduation day, we're supposed to leave. I get hit with a court paper stating that she's to remain in the state and that the aunt is now filing for custody. I had to stay an extra month. Yeah. So, yeah, your eyebrow went up just like mine. What has happened within this time? Okay, Madison, you didn't want to come, but it's the court. Aunt is like third party. I am the father. You talking about a battle and money that I had to kick out. So the relationship with me, the mother-in-law, the aunt, and even my oldest daughter, the fight to keep her in New Jersey. And you would think that I was the worst person in the world, that these things that these people were saying about me. And there's certain things that the court has to prove, or they have to prove, in order for you to be removed from custody. I don't do drugs. There was no alcohol. I did all of those things. They never checked. They never did anything. So the relationship became tainted and it became horrible. Horrible. And it's a shame.
This is my thing. Now I can see. I know how hands you were on with your daughter. Like I know you guys were together like Bunny and Clyde. So I know how close y'all were. My thing is, I could see if you were a deadbeat dad, you wasn't around, and when your wife died, you decided, oh, I'm gonna step up and get these girls, and I can see the aunt stepping in then. But why are you sticking your nose in my business? And I can't understand that. It seems like to me sometimes they feel like the father is irrelevant sometimes when it comes to a parent, but you hold the same weight as the mother. And it just, I don't know, some things that shouldn't be done without your permission, because that's your baby too.
Right. Well, that's my baby. I had no problem with you visiting. There was something that we could have talked or worked out. But for you to say these things about me, and even if you add, like, they just straight brainwashed my daughter. If you asked her, I never did anything for her. She told her that she told the aunt, this is the aunt, told the court that she used to take her to her doctor's appointments and she cooked for her and all these different things. This woman had moved out of the house. And I proved that, they went back. She had cared for her for 11 years. So where was I doing all of this thing that I missed that you did just everything? Again, these malicious family members, anything to get a buck because they knew I was receiving money for her and me. Never mind about keeping the roof and all that stuff that we had going on over my head and, paying Madison's phone bill and all this and that and so on and so forth. People just will do whatever it takes to get ahead and get that extra money, from a person.
And we know that the amount they probably was giving you you were spending way more than what they were giving you. We already know. So it's like, my thing is, you really don't have a right to be doing anything. And then why try to be malicious about it, right? Why not come to me and have a conversation and say, hey, I would really like for Madison to come and live with us. Like, and here are my reasons. Instead of going behind my back and then slapping me with these court papers at what was supposed to be a happy moment for you and her. Like,
right.
I don't like that.
And the crazy thing, they let it go until it's like almost time to go for trial. So what they want you to do is keep paying the lawyer more money until you can't afford it anymore. And you have to give up. You have to let it go. They want you to just say, you can't do it. But I've been raising her since she was 8. No, I'm sorry. I've been raising her since she was born. I was just doing it by myself when she turned 8 and because my wife was now deceased. But it's not right. And I know it's not just me. There's other people in this situation. And there's so many things because it's already sad enough that 73% of homes don't have a father in it. And here I am spending all this money trying to fight to be in there. If they don't recognize and see that alone of what I was doing, that I cared, then I don't know what else to do. Because it's just left me at, you know what? Live your life. I need to live mine. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of thinking, making me, having conversations with myself that I was a bad dad. I should have did this and did that. But now, so many, as you said, everybody knows my story with her. No, I was not a bad dad. I was coming so down on myself. I was in depression. I was like every other day, every other night. So that relationship now with my daughters and with the family, with so many other people, it's no more relationship. The relationship is now is done.
And that's sad because you would think after everything that your wife went through, that would brought everybody closer together, bonded everybody together.
Right.
Instead of doing this malicious thing as, we're gonna take the girls, they're gonna come with us because we know you're getting this check and now we want to get this money. And then brainwash the child.
Right. You would think that death will pull families together, but it doesn't. It tears them apart. You got some families will go in as soon that person not even in the ground yet, and they trying to find out about the bank account numbers, how much is in there, and this and that. Like, so you've been plotting really all along. This is what's sad. And I think the aunt will want to have the father there, or anybody will want the fatherhood is more important than the money. That I've been there doing those things. So now I've missed so many memories and times, sweet 16s, graduations, all kind. This little girl don't even send me a picture. I have to go on social media just to find out what's going on in her life. And the so-called friends that she was, that she had wanted to stay for and she would miss or whatever, they broke up and all went their separate ways. They used to be a clique. They had a name for their clique.
I remember.
The squad. Now the squad is like no more. They don't even like each other. And I tried to tell her this. Us older folks, we kind of know a little something about life.
Sometimes you have to let people learn for themselves. And I feel like, you reap what you sow. So the aunt is going to reap what she sowed. Whatever she put out is going to come back to her. I feel like when
Karma.
your daughter gets a little older, that she's going to sit back and she's going to reflect on, she knows everything that you were doing for her. Every time I saw you, I saw her. She was
Exactly.
everywhere with you. So for the aunt to even do something so underhanded like that, like, is not right. But you said something really important. You said something about fatherhood is more important than the money. And that's
Right.
so important. It's so important, especially to like a lot of men who having issues with child support. Like, okay, you can't see this child because you're not paying child support. Like, is it important for the man to be present and be there if he don't have the money, or do you just want the money? Like, what's really important? So I totally agree with you with that, but a lot of people don't see it that way.
Right. Because I think your daughter or son or whoever is going to always grow up and remember you. They're not going to remember the check because they're not seeing it anyway, because the parents are taking it. So they don't know anything about the money. You got parents putting stuff in kids' names. So, and they don't even know why their credit and stuff is all jacked up and they only 15. But that's a whole nother story. But yes, I want my daughter to remember, like, you know what? My dad was a great dad. We did this, we did that. Like, we did this for the first time. Things I never, did with this person, or I may not even get a chance to do in my lifetime. I got to do it with him. And I just been trying to tell them and coach them, don't wait too long to come around before it's too late. Don't wait until I'm on my deathbed to say I'm sorry or these things, because you can fix it now while I'm here and while I'm in good health and while I'm actually celebrating tomorrow.
Yay! It's your birthday
Tomorrow is the day.
tomorrow.
Yes, yes,
Happy
yes, yes, yes.
pre-birthday. I'm excited.
Yes. Thank you, Lady
Yes.
Rochelle
I
and the
would sing for
Rochelettes
you,
and
but yeah, that's
everybody out there.
yay. Happy birthday. I'm excited.
But it is so many relationships out there that go through so much, drama, trauma. And don't get me wrong, there are some good relationships that come out of things. So the relationship after relationship, really you think over your life about, how did this turn out? Or why did it turn out this way? Or how did it get this way? And different things. I really sat and thought about that. And I'm just no longer beating myself up about the situation, because as a man and as a father, I did what I had to do. If they don't see it, that's them, because I don't have anything to do with what anybody else say about me. I can only say what I say about me and what I know and what you saw, that I was there. And there's pictures, there's everything to prove it. So nobody can say anything.
Yeah, my thing is she already lost one parent. So
Exactly.
how dare you snatch her from the only parent that she has left? Like, how is that? Do they not think that she's gonna be affected by that? She's gonna be affected by that. Now it's almost like she's an orphan. And
Yeah.
yeah, okay, you're her aunt,
So
but you're not the parent.
yeah. So now, and because I had moved, so now the court is saying, oh well, it's abandonment.
Are you
The,
serious?
the court is not on, look, if you're a man, the court is not on your side when it comes to this situation. Yes. It was just so many things being thrown and blown. Like, what do you mean? What? No, this is not true. Like, I can't believe that you took this and you did this with it. You twisted this whole thing around. Nah, nah.
I'm gonna flip it for you, Rizal, because sometimes it works a different way. Let me see what this comment is first. Um, Hey, Shanera. Hey, Red. Thank y'all for joining us. We're talking about the shifting dynamics of social relationships after cancer. Y'all, we are live on Intellectual Radio. It's Relationship Monday. I have Rizal here, aka The Biz, and he already spent his gems right now. So I'm hoping that you guys are learning something. Red says she still is going to need him sometime in her life. Just be there. I agree. And I think Rizal is really open to that. It still hurts though. It still hurts
Oh, it more than
that.
hurt. I mean, it's just like losing my wife. It's not a day because she was from us, and a lot of these kids, they get into the marriage not knowing what's going on, but you're not in the marriage. You were just of the marriage, and that's where they lose their whole consciousness about what's happening. Keep your nose, you were not in the marriage. This is between you and your mother. You don't know what happened, what's going on, or anything. So for these kids to say and do the things that they do, they just, I mean, to me, they just ain't got the right to do it. They just need to keep their mouth closed and stay in the child's place.
Yeah, but then when you have another grown up that's there narrating the stuff, it's kind of hard for them to be like, "Oh, that's not really how it was." Okay, what you're saying could be true. And which is really sad on, the aunt's part, because she should be working with you. Like, work with me, because now she's missing a parent. She's missing that woman figure. So yeah, work with me so that we can make sure that you're not going to feel the void of the mother, but just to make sure
Yeah,
that she has the presence of a woman. So,
but that was the issue. See, the aunt doesn't have any kids. So don't try to make my kids your kids. If you want kids, you are fully functional to go out there and have your own kids. And that's what you need to do. You don't need to be trying to take my kids. You want kids? Go have kids. Go adopt a kid. Go do whatever. Don't try to butter up. Oh, I'm gonna get you this, and you making a sweet soft landing for her, and she's just feeding into it because I said no to these things, and you're like, oh yes, yes, yes. So you kind of like luring her in and giving her everything that she wants, but like you said, she's going to get a taste. Karma is definitely real.
sometimes we think the grass is greener. It's just like when you go every weekend, like if you have split households and you have to go with one parent, the one parent you go for the weekend, you probably don't have to do any chores. You probably don't have to do anything. It's just all fun. Y'all eating out. Then when you come back home,
Right,
oh, I got to clean up. I got to make my bed. I got to wash these dishes. Like, this a lot.
right,
Like, I don't want to be here. Not knowing that once you go over there for a time, things are going to change. You're going to have to do some of those things.
right.
So, Rizal, I went through a situation with my son. He had just graduated from 8th grade. Look at that. He,
It must be
he
something
just,
about that number eight.
yes,
Somebody look it up in the Bible. What is number eight?
the new,
The
it means
symbolic of the
the
number
new
eight.
beginnings. It means new beginnings. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he just graduated from 8th grade. I get these court papers in the mail saying I was married at the time. So no, was I married at the time? No, I wasn't married to my husband at the time. We was together, but we wasn't married. So yes, I was. We was married because I was pregnant with my daughter. We was married. So I get these court papers in the mail saying that my son is fighting for custody. My son's father is fighting for custody of him, and I'm like, what? Now he's going over there every other weekend. I'm like, what? What is he talking about? Where'd this come from? So as I'm reading the papers, right, everything in the paper has to do with my husband, and nothing has to do with me. So I'm like, my thing is, if you wanted to raise your son, just say, hey, I would like to raise my own son. Like, I don't want no other man raising my son. I want to be able to raise him full time. Can we work something out? So we go into court. Like you said, we paying money. We go into court. He could not prove that I was a bad mom. There was nothing to say that there was something wrong with me, that I was a bad mom. Everything had to do with my husband. Like, oh, the husband be drunk. I'm like, no, my husband don't drink. Now, if you said my husband was high, I'll be like, yeah, he smoked weed, but alcohol, no. He was like, the husband be drunk all the time, this and that. I'm like, no, that's not true. Like, everything that he said wasn't true. And I'm just thinking, like, why would you go and make up all this stuff because you want your son? So I'm 8 months pregnant, and we're going through mediation. And I said, I'm paying all this money. And I'm like, the judge was like, well, if you want us to make a decision, we can make a decision. If you wanted to go to court, it's going to be whatever the judge says. And I'm like, we could go to court because there's nothing that he can prove on me to say that I'm a bad parent or there's anything going wrong in my household or anything like that. If you want to raise your son, just say you want to raise your son. You don't want another man raising your son. Don't put these lies in these court papers, to say. So what happened was we had a mediation appointment and the judge was like, talk to the son. Let's see what the son wants to do. So I talked to my son and I said, hey, your father is fighting for custody of you and I'm spending all this money and I need to know what you want to do because he was 14 at the time. So I'm like, you old enough to say where you want to go. Do you know this little boy said he wanted to go live with his dad?
It don't even surprise me because that's the other
okay.
thing. Madison did the same thing.
I said, okay, is that what you want to do? He says, yes. I said, all right, we don't need to spend another penny up in here. All right. So he could go live with his dad. And then, so I was getting child support from the dad. I said, and so they mentioned child support. I said he could take the $300 that he was giving me for child support and he can use that on the child support for him because I'm not paying child support. And the judge said, okay, so I didn't have to pay child support. The $300 that he was giving me, just add it right back into your pot and you use the same $300 that you felt that I could live off of and you support that baby off that $300. So I didn't have to pay child support. We wrote up a parenting agreement to where it was set out for the next 4 years where he would spend his holidays, every weekend or where he would spend his holidays. So I'm just like, what really got me upset was like, my son saw me going to court. I'm 8 months pregnant. I'm stressing out. And I'm like, dude, you should have said this at first. I said, well, why do you want to go live with your dad? And he said, I just want to see how it feels to live with my dad. And I said, okay, you could go live with your dad. Now, this little boy called me like a couple of months later. Ma, can I come back home? Because I don't want to live with my dad. I don't want to be over here. My dad be tripping. He over here like he on his period. I said, deal with your dad. Deal with your dad. That's your dad. And the good thing about it is me and his dad had a decent relationship, but he couldn't stand my husband. But don't lie on my husband and try to make him seem like he's a bad guy because you want to raise your own son. A man would have came to my husband and say, look, my son is in your household and I just want to make sure that we're raising him with the same standards. So this is what you and I are going to do. But sometimes pride get in the way and it's just like, really? Come on, dude. This man been in my household. He's 14. Me and this guy been together since this boy was 1. So he's been in his life for 14 years. He's dropping him off at school. He's picking him up. He's taking him to doctor's appointment. He's here. But I'm like, if that's where you want to be, then that's where you want to be. Yeah, call me a couple of months later. Talking about, Ma, I want to come home. I'm like, no. It was fun and games when you were over there every weekend. But now you his dad was really strict with him. No, stay over there. Mm-hmm. Stay where you are. So he apologized to me now that he's 29 years old. And he apologized to me. I'm just like, what you want me to say?
I mean, but at least you've got an apology. I haven't, my kids don't even call me unless it's a holiday or something. I don't get, they don't check on me. Hey, you all right? Things would have been a lot better if the communication, if the relationship was better. But I tried. I'm not going to be turning around kissing their butts. I'm at, well, you're supposed to be looking after me now, and they say, oh, it works 2 ways. Nah, y'all the kids. That's Red.
Yeah, Red said my kid's mother passed and the sister wouldn't let him get the little boy. He was 4. They moved out of town with him. That's just evil. That's just evil. That's just plain evil. Like, why? Why, if this kid just lost a parent. Why would you snatch them from another parent and take them? You can't take the place of a parent. You can't. You can't. He says it's
Yeah.
different when you're living there and when you're visiting there. It's so true. And my son got the taste. He got the taste that once he was living there, the father's much stricter than the mother. It's different when a mother is saying, Josh, go do this, Josh. When the dad said, Josh, go do this, it's like he commands attention. They tend to listen to the dad, and it's like you can't get out of it. It's a court order saying that you have to be there. I'm not about to spend another dime to get you to come back here. No.
Well, just like I said, I wasn't paying child support either. For what? I've been taking care of for all this time, even though the lawyer said that she could file for child support if she want, because my daughter is up there. But no, I'm not paying child support. Even if it was ordered, I still wasn't going to pay it. So they thought they were slick about it because, like I said, Madison was getting Social Security. But see, she wasn't getting just any Social Security. She was getting survivor benefits. Madison was still just young at the time, and she was about to turn 16. Survivor benefits run out at the age of 16. So they thought that she was going to keep getting until she was 18 and had like good 2 more years. So when they found out that she only had about 2 more months left, what you want me to do?
Greedy.
Because even Social Security called me like, Mr. Gilmore. Her name was Sister Muhammad. I'll never forget. She said, you've been taking care of this girl for X amount of years. Why now the sudden change? I said, Sister Muhammad, I would like to know the same thing. And you said the key word, I've been taken care of. Now people, where was these people at during the 11 years when I wanted people to step up, when I had to learn how to do hair, when I had to learn the little girly things, because, now she's becoming a woman and, wait a minute, what pads do you need and all this stuff? Where was these people then? No, I had to do that, but I'm the bad guy.
That's really sad. It really is, because the kids really they suffer behind this. Red said, but she wanted until he was 23 and then told me I can come get him. Really?
Nah.
Really? Because then it makes it seem like you wasn't around. It makes it seem like, oh, he'll deadbeat dad because he wasn't here.
Right.
Like, why would you do that? I think people need to stay in their place. Again, if the dad is not abusive, then no, you need to stay in your place and allow him to be the parent. If one of the parents have passed on, you have another parent there. Nobody else should be butting their nose in the business if there's no type of abuse going on. Just people need to just stay in their
not
place.
Even that. One thing I learned, there's one thing you don't mess with. You don't mess with people's kids. You lead them, you let them handle that situation, no matter how the situation is or whatever. That's the father or that's the mother. That's where they need to go. You ain't coming in on no white horse and some shiny shoe, think that you about to save the day from somebody. You just made situations worse with that child, the family, you, that person. You just made things worse because now there's more than bitterness.
And it's trauma. It really is trauma for you to snatch that child out of the household after they tragically lost one parent. It wasn't just like, the parent passed away because maybe it was old age or whatever. The mom died tragically. She got to see her mom sick, and she got to see you taking care of her mom, and then here comes somebody else sticking their nose in the business. Like, people just need to mind their own business. If you want to help, okay, fine. Let's work together. We can work together. We can help each other out. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. So yeah, I welcome the help, but don't come and try to be underhanded and tell lies just to get my child, especially because you want to get a check.
Yep.
No,
they want to try to. They think they call themselves doing what's best for the child. But shoot, the child that is a child, they don't even know what's best for them. They ain't even wet behind the ears yet.
Who are you to say what's best for my child?
Right.
Who are you?
Right. The one that I've been dealing with that was keeping me up at night. Where was you at when it was time to give a bottle at 3 o'clock or change diaper or any of those things? I had to wake up sleepy. I go and use the bottle warmer. But you know what? Now I feel much better about the situation. Some time has passed, not a lot, but some time has passed, throughout the years. And I think now I've been here and going on 4 years. And just last year was the first time that my daughter, both of them came down.
Wow.
Just to see. So I've only seen them. They've only came to see me one time here. And again, I'll probably hear from them tomorrow. They'll say happy birthday, but it's always short. It's short. It's no, hey, what you doing there? You doing, what you doing? I just called to say happy birthday, old man. Talk to you later. Bye. What's really hurtful? That I got kids that's not even mine who treat me better than the ones that are mine. And that's a real sad feeling. I even got stranger kids that come by and say hi, or sit and talk. And I can't even get my own to do the same. They just don't realize the type of dad that they have. As you see in my daughter was hanging out with celebrities. I never did that when I was young. She was hanging in, there's pictures of with celebrities, but I was never around.
Well, Rizal, keep being present for the other children. Don't stifle that love that you have. Keep being present for them because they need it. If nobody else wants it and that those kids need it, then just keep being present. Whatever you're putting out, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to you. So don't allow them to make you feel bad about it. I'm glad that you're in a different space about it.
Yeah.
Lisa said dollar signs make people act different, don't it? Like a brand new person.
Mm-hmm.
Shanera says, happy birthday.
Thank you, Shanera.
She says it won't always be like this. It won't always be like this. This too shall pass. It shall.
After the rain comes the sunshine.
It shall. And I believe
doesn't rain forever.
Once they get a little mature, then they'll be able to appreciate the type of person you are. Because I'm telling you, because my son came and we had these conversations, and it seemed like to me, like right now, I feel like he's trying to make up for the time that he wasn't there. And I'm like, you can't make up for it. It was a choice. Right. You were still with your dad, and his dad did a great job. So I'm not going to say anything negative about him being with his dad. He did a great job with him. So I'm just glad he was in an environment to where he was able to grow and nourish him. And he's a great young man and doing some great things. So sometimes it works like that. We don't know why things happen. We don't know why God allowed things to happen. But I do know that God is in control of all things, and he has a master plan for us. And we don't know what that master plan is. And I do know that this is not the end for you and your daughters. So
no, I wouldn't say that it's the end. But like you said, so much time has passed. Just like Madison, my daughter, she was going to a prom. She was going for senior. She was a junior at the time. I didn't even know she was going to the prom until I happened to call her because it was her birthday and she was home. I was like, what are you doing home? I'm getting ready for prom. So the communication, the relationship that we now have, it's like it's like, you know what? I'm just going to let you grow up. That's it. I'll catch you when I can, or catch me when you can. I'm just going to let you grow up. So don't think, when daddy's gone, you trying to get stuff. Nah, I done fix that insurance policy.
True. You have to do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to take a step back and allow people to see what it really is. And eventually when they do come around, hopefully, it won't be too late.
Well, that's what I try to tell them.
Life is so short.
No, life isn't short. We just forget to live it.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody say that it's short, but just sitting around
doing nothing.
Yep.
Lisa said, "Amen," and your transparency will help others get through in efforts of overcoming.
Yes,
I
this is why we
agree.
do this
I
show,
agree.
Lisa. This is why we do this show.
Yeah.
We put our truths out there. So because I know there's another man or woman that's like ladies that's going through what we've been through. We speak from experience. We speak what we know. We know the outcome. We know what's going to happen. And even to this day, we don't know what the future hold. But everybody, people who's gone through it before us say that it'll get better. They'll
Yeah.
come around, and we can just only hope and pray that it does. Until then, we just ask God to keep that hedge of protection around them, and we keep praying for them, and keep the devil. We're going to keep the devil out. We're not going to let him in, and we're not going to let him win. That's all. So I don't let those thoughts, those things, because again, like I said, I know what I've done.
And because you can rest. You don't have to be, tossing and turning and thinking about anything. You know what type of father you was. And then other people know. So it's not just you. Shanera said, "This too shall pass." I agree. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Darkness don't last always. Daytime gotta show up. It got to show up. Lisa said, "Life is precious and priceless." She says, "I speak life into you." Come on, y'all. Y'all preaching. Come on, y'all.
Good job. Look at
Look at
see,
that. Come
going into
on.
this first of the year relationship Monday.
Okay.
See, I told you I was excited.
They done showed up and showed out. Oh my goodness. All right, Rizal. We, believe it or not, we are wrapping things up. Give some words of, you have already given words of wisdom, but what would you say to someone who may be in this same situation? And how can they shift the dynamics of the relationship?
I can't even say if it's positive or not, but just always remember, you're the villain in someone's story.
Wow, that's powerful.
Think about it. Somewhere out there, you are the villain in someone's story.
That is true. That is true. All right, you guys. Coming up next at 7 p.m. is The People Show with Mark Wallace and Charles Thomas. Please don't go anywhere starting at 7 p.m. My closing sponsor is Gloria Dotson with Mary Kay. Go over to marykay.com, type in GDOTSON, and look at some of the products that she has. Join me next Monday at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio. And I will leave you guys with these words of wisdom. Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leap fences, penetrate walls to arrive at its destination, full of hope. And that's by Maya Angelou. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell. Co-hosting with me today is Rizal, a.k.a. The Biz. Warriors Talk is changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.